Hey, welcome back to Vic and Hope's favorites stuff, I guess.
The appropriate title is Our Favorites Are Better Than Your Favorites.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Alright, Hope is determined. That's the title of the series. Recording these back to back. That's how it goes. I hope you guys enjoyed the last one.
Back to back.
Yeah, back to back. I hope you enjoyed the last one.
That's the thumbnail.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
We don't have to go back. We can stay like this for a bit.
Okay.
If you want.
That sounds good.
So yeah, so now we want to talk about our favorite live action films because we're not just gonna be an anime channel permanently from now on. We're gonna talk about all kinds of stuff. Because gradually we're gonna run out of new anime to talk about. And we'll want to talk about movies too. And I think it would be quite unique for a channel to talk about anime and movies. Hopefully you guys like movies and live action shit. Because we like movies.
I feel like we have the same aura as those like weird 80s couples pictures with like the weird stars in the background that you got done at like Kmart.
Alright, back to normal. Okay, so 9 movies. Movies are another really hard thing for me to remember all of the movies that are my favorites.
Yeah.
Very, very tricky. So some of these are newer movies I've seen. Some of these are long-time, lifelong classics. It's really hard to judge because, movies are definitely another thing where you gotta watch it multiple times to really know how much you love it. But, like, some of these I've only seen once, so I'm not super sure. But we've seen a lot of great movies lately. It makes these lists really, really hard. There's a lot of close contenders.
Yeah. My list was quite long, and I really had to parse it down.
Yeah, but movies are another interesting thing because I think people are gonna have there's such a huge variety of movies where like the anime, it's like there are certain classic anime that just everyone fucking loves, like Hunter x Hunter, where like a lot of people are gonna have Hunter x Hunter on their list. The movies are like, they're just fucking all over the place for decades and decades, so I think it's gonna vary dramatically with like different kinds of people. For us, we've seen most of the same movies, so I think a lot of this is gonna be similar.
Yeah.
But, let's just jump into it. Number 1, first off, Parasite.
할 수 있을 것 같은데? 뭘 좀 다른 거죠? 이 서사하는구나. 이게
얘는 다리 먹으면 뭐야? 그렇게?
요즘도 저런 걸 하네. 그러게요.
손은 닫아.
나도 봐. 공짜로 집안에 소독도 하고 곱등이도 없애고.
그래, 요새 곱등이 너무 많아.
내가 닫으라 그랬지?
닫을까요?
You know it, you love it, you've heard of it by now. We've talked about it before, certainly.
Wait a minute. They don't speak English in that movie.
Oh no! Parasite is a Korean film!
How can it win an Academy Award if it's not in English?
Shucks! Parasite is top to bottom a fucking absolute masterpiece. I think it's probably one of the best films ever constructed, never made, ever written. Big claims to make, but
true.
I think time will show that this movie is a fucking classic and shall not be forgotten. It feels like a movie that needs to be taught in school, in universities.
Yeah.
There's just so much to unpack. Every moment of the movie is just full of meaning and metaphors and it's just so immaculately done. I cannot believe that they are even able to make it and to even write it. The inspiration is just so immense. Or it's just like, I don't know how you came up with this scene and wrote it to feel so natural and so perfect and such a unique, beautiful perspective and encapsulation of a certain culture. It's ridiculous. I've seen it twice. Loved it both times. The first time is unforgettable. Like, the first time you watch this, it is ridiculous because you have no idea what you're getting into.
Yeah.
The total train ride. I didn't watch a single trailer or promotional image or anything going into this movie. And from the title of it, it sounds like a horror film. So, like, you really have no idea what to expect. It's not a horror film.
No.
But, it's just a fucking instant classic. and just one of the most exciting, accessible, wonderful Korean films ever made, for sure.
Definitely. I agree. I had only seen the promotional images for this movie, and I was familiar with Bong Joon-ho's work. Like Snowpiercer. We had seen Okja. But I was really interested in this.
Yeah.
When we were in the theater for the first time seeing this together, there weren't a lot of people in the theater, but when certain things would happen, we could not help but like audibly react. It's just such a knee-jerk, like I would just like shriek quietly. I'm just like,
visceral.
It's like, oh my god,
Visceral, so unexpected, everything that happens.
so
and it just
good.
like you never quite know where it's going, and it's just full of surprises. And then the second time you watch it, because we saw it in theaters twice in the same week.
Yeah.
The second time you watch it, you just notice from the very beginning so many things that were going on that pay off by the end, and it's just top to bottom fantastic. And you have to watch it twice, because once you know what it's about, now you can understand the stuff in the beginning that you missed. And just like the locations are incredible, the structure is incredible, everything from the beginning to the end of the movie has a bottom to top structure, and like every location has inclines, and like
there's so much like verticality and depth to,
because it's all a metaphor for the societal issues and class systems and shit. It's just ridiculous. It's baffling that they were able to make this movie, you know?
Yeah. The acting is totally on point, like so good.
So many great moments. Every character, it's like a perfect ensemble where everyone holds their weight. Every character is interesting, has their own shit going on, and is equally valuable to the story. Perfect like heist sequences and stuff.
So
just
much
like
tension.
Wonderful editing, transitions, cinematography. It's just ridiculous. So good.
And even though this movie is in Korean and takes place in South Korea, the themes of this movie are applicable everywhere.
Yeah.
Like classism and social structure are just as applicable. Like that is just as applicable here in America as it is in Korea.
And it's just an exciting plot either way. Like people like to say that it crossed so many boundaries because of the classism is relatable anywhere, but it's like the story.
But the story itself
like,
is excellent.
The stuff
like that's
that
not
happens,
to take away.
Yeah, it's all exciting. It's very just fucking. You're on the edge of your seat the whole time. There's no dull moment or boring pause. Like it just fucking goes.
It's always good. As we discussed on Big and Hope, it has the most realistic sex scene ever
hilarious.
put to film.
Fucking great.
The most relatable, I guess I should say.
It's just like, it's funny, it's scary, it's exciting, it's just so many different things put into one movie, and it's structurally so interesting, like a lot of Korean movies are, because my favorite thing about Korean and Japanese movies especially is that they will just abandon a 3-act structure and really kind of focus in on scenes and chapters and like the aesthetic structure of a movie in an interesting way. But that's Parasite.
Yeah.
Definitely you gotta see it if you haven't.
It's up right now, April 11th, for free on Hulu, so you have no excuse not to go watch it. I want to go watch Parasite.
Yeah. It's just one of those where it's like, well, we'll definitely buy it on Blu-ray.
Oh, for sure.
We haven't already.
We need to.
It's just a incredibly hyped movie that deserves every bit of the hype.
And that's so rare.
Yeah. Like, it is not overrated. It is a masterpiece and a classic.
Absolutely.
Okay. Next on the list, Shin motherfucking Godzilla. another fucking incredibly written movie. Very exciting, very awesome, totally new perspective on Godzilla. I have it here kind of representing all of my favorite Godzilla shit, but Shin Godzilla is undoubtedly the best Godzilla movie. Like, it is just fucking great. Lala has distracted us as she jumped onto the window. She chilling, but yeah, Shin Godzilla is fucking great. You know, directed by fucking Hideaki Anno. What more could you want? Soundtrack's fantastic, characters are awesome, totally fucking unique story, unique structure, tons of fun, awesome Godzilla designs, instant classic. You can watch it time and time again.
This is by far my favorite, like, aesthetic for a Godzilla, because it's just so fucked up looking.
He's freaky.
And, like, when he's a larva, he's so fucked up with, like, the cloudy eyes and the weird gills. Yeah. And then when he becomes normal Godzilla, and the way his mouth, like, opens and, like, in a just super unnatural way that a jaw just, like, doesn't move. Yeah. The body horror of this Godzilla is, like, my favorite.
Just the new interpretation of Godzilla, the new, more modern interpretation of what he represents, because, you know, Godzilla has always represented the Hiroshima, Nagasaki shit, and sort of, like, he's always been, like, a punishment to mankind for their hubris and stuff like that, and as we see, you know, modern times with the coronavirus pandemic going on, the plot of this movie, if you watched it, you might be able to understand the government's response to things, because it's all about the government. It's such an interesting take on Godzilla and their response to the disaster of Godzilla through modern politics and what would really happen, and it's just like, that will make it timeless, you know? Because it's not just a Godzilla versus whatever action movie. It's taking the structure of Godzilla and applying it in a new way and reinterpreting what Godzilla means for a modern audience, which the pandemics are just kind of different, which it's really, I think it's directly based on, like, the response to, like, their nuclear reactor meltdown or whatever.
A couple of years ago, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, but it can just be perfectly applicable to how modern governments react to any of those scenarios. You know, it could be a fucking tsunami, it could be a national health crisis, like...
Anything, any disaster.
It's a great look at bureaucracy and how incredibly inefficient our systems are, and, like, very cool.
Yeah, very cool.
With also some legendary moments and images that are just stick with you. Very fucking cool. Next movie, Whiplash.
Do you think you're out of tune? Yes. Then why the fuck didn't you say so? I've carried your fat ass for too long, Matt, so I'm not gonna have you cost us a competition because your mind's on a fucking Happy Meal instead of on pitch. Jackson, congratulations, you're fourth chair. Mets, why are you still sitting there? Get the fuck out! For the record, Metz wasn't out of tune. You were, Erickson. But he didn't know. And that's bad enough.
Total classic. Probably the most serious movie on this list, to an extent. It's a thriller.
Whiplash is fucking thriller.
It's rough. It's hard. It's difficult to watch at times.
Sometimes.
It is intense, but it encapsulates beautifully the sort of madness and passion of, like, the highest class of artist you could be. It reminds me a lot of like Gordon Ramsay in a way, where there's this type of mentor and student relationship that is incredibly unrelatable to anyone but, like, the top class of people who want to be the best in the world at what they do, and you gotta appreciate that. Because that's what the kid in the movie is trying to accomplish, and what the teacher in the movie is. Like, this is the best school, the best teacher, the best student. Like, these are people pushing the limits of what they can do as a human being to an extreme. And it's, like, the emotional arc of that person who is just obsessed with what they're doing in becoming great and overcoming this obstacle of a person that's working against them.
Yeah.
And it's very much like, I watched the documentary, it's a documentary about Gordon Ramsay that was made right before he became mega famous, where he was trying to open up his own, to get his 3rd Michelin star or whatever by opening up this restaurant. And he's such a fucking prick. And he's so just a terrible, awful asshole. But the people working for him, they interview, and they're like, that's what we want. We want to be the best chefs in the world. This guy wants to be the best chef in the world. We want to be punished. We want to be great. We want to have this grueling experience. You see that in, like, Shokugeki no Soma, too.
Yeah.
If you want to relate it to anime. Like, these are intense people trying to be the best. There is no mercy. There is no excuses. This is just dedicating your life to an art in a craft, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, you've got to
highest possible level.
Like, it's on the level of being a fucking sociopath and destroying your own life for what you do, but, like, that's what it takes for these people to become these fucking transcendental artists of, like, incredible magnitude. And that's what Whiplash is about, which is pretty cool, you know?
Yeah.
And it's a really exciting movie.
Exactly. It encapsulates it in a perfect way.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking sick. Got anything else to say about Whiplash?
No, it's great.
Yeah.
It's got great acting. It's great.
Rocky fucking 3! Classic. This one is where I get into the territory of movies that might not be good. I don't know if people would consider Rocky to be an amazing Oscar-worthy film. But Rocky 3 is fucking sick, and it's one of my favorites. I've seen it more than any of the other Rocky movies. I've seen it at least 5 times. I can watch it over and over again. It always brings a smile to my face. It's the most exciting Rocky movie from start to finish. It's just the ultimate fucking classic. Fucking Mr. T as Clubber Lang, hilarious. It's a wonderful character arc for Rocky as he lets fame get to his head. He becomes too rich and too fucking, he's like, I'm the champion. His hubris gets the better of him. He's taken out by what is essentially a starving artist, someone who is rising, passionate. He deserves to beat Rocky because Rocky has gotten soft and become a little complacent bitch because his manager has been rigging matches for him by setting him up against people that he knows he can beat because he thinks Rocky's lost his edge and he can't beat someone who's an actual qualified badass boxer. So Clubber Lang comes in, talks all that good shit, and then Rocky has to fight him. Rocky loses because he's become a little bitch and he has to learn how to fucking be a man again and fucking get in the best shape of his life and beat that motherfucker because he's talking so much shit about Rocky's wife and he's like, I will fuck your wife and she'll fucking love it, dude. And you're like, damn, dude, this is the pinnacle of fucking Rocky. This is the shit. It's fucking awesome. It's a classic. So much fun.
This is the only Rocky movie I've seen. It was fun.
I showed you Rocky 4 too.
Did we?
Yeah, with the Russian guy, right? I showed you that. Because I remember we watched Rocky 3 first, and I was like, oh my god, you liked Rocky 3. Thank god. This movie's so fucking great. Let's watch Rocky 4. And then Rocky 4, I was like, this actually isn't as good as I remember. Rocky 3 is way better than Rocky 4.
I remember Rocky 3 being fun. I don't remember anything. If we did watch it,
exactly.
I don't remember
Because Rocky 4 has like a billion montages and stuff, and you're like, okay. Rocky 3, though, fucking sick as shit. Eye of the Tiger, total classic. It's fucking great. Gotta catch my breath. I'm too...
Oh, that startled Lala.
Next on the list, we have the most emotional movie on my list. We have Her.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what's wrong with me. I think you're amazing.
I was starting to think I was crazy. You were saying everything was fine, but all I was getting from you was distance and anger.
I know. I do that. I did the same thing with Catherine, too. I'd be upset about something and not be able to say it. And she says that there was something wrong, but I deny it. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to tell you everything.
Good. Tonight after you were gone, I thought a lot about you and how you've been treating me, and I thought, why do I love you? And then I felt everything in me just let go of everything I was holding on to so tightly, and it hit me that I don't have an intellectual reason. I don't need one. I trust myself. I trust my feelings. I'm not going to try to be anything other than who I am anymore, and I hope you can accept that.
I can.
It's basically like Ride Your Wave. Similar emotions. I've seen her twice in my life. Both times I literally cried for multiple days afterwards because it just fucking hits me immensely hard. I think we have some very personal, me and Hope emotional ties into this movie that are kind of hard to explain. But like, it just hits me in a way that no other kind of romance movie does. It's aesthetically awesome. The sci-fi elements are really cool. Wonderful characters, wonderful story, and God, it will just fucking crush you in the end. And it's a perfect look at the arc of a certain type of relationship, and it really encapsulates a deep fear of the people you love outgrowing you, and that's the fucking real hardest shit. It's fucking brutal. Her? Yeah, I mean, it's on your list too, I know.
It's absolutely
so
on
if
my
you want
list.
to talk about it.
I've also seen it twice, and it's not a movie I can just watch casually, because every time I've watched it, I've been emotionally devastated for days afterwards. One time I told a coworker when she asked what my favorite movie of all time was, and I told her that it's her, and she looked at me like I was fucking insane, so that's basically...
It's divisive, because not... Like, it's another one of those where it's like, this movie appeals to me and you in a special way that no one else quite understands. I can't really explain. And I wouldn't recommend it to anyone because I know that it's such a personal thing, you know? So it's like, maybe watch it, maybe don't. You might not get it at all.
It is still a technically beautiful movie.
Yeah.
It is gorgeous, and the way that it was lit and shot is technically amazing. Like, the efforts that Spike Jonze went into to create the lighting and to create cinematography is astounding. But it's also a really emotionally powerful fucking movie.
And Spike Jonze is shit. He's a classic. Extremely influential, badass. But yeah, her has a special place in our heart and will probably never leave the center of this fucking chart. And I'm always afraid to watch it because I'm afraid I won't like it as much. And it's like, I just want to forget, like, I want to never watch it again and just latch on to how I felt those other two times. It, like, I don't want to watch it and not like it as much as I did before, you know? That's a fear I have with a lot of my favorite movies and stuff like that. It's just like, I would hate to watch this and not like it as much because I'm not in the same headspace I was when I originally saw it, you know? Mm-hmm. Because it just means so much. Like the next movie... Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1990!
You dirty rat! You killed my brother! You dirty rat! Woo!
That must be Splinter's favorite. It was a joke.
Speaking of Whiplash, hey,
we rewatched this recently. You would have been seeing it for the first time.
Yes.
I have seen it many times, and I gotta say, it fucking holds up incredibly well. Hilarious, nonstop fun. It hits me in my kokoro in the perfect spot. It's just, I've loved it since I was born, and I will love it until I die. It is the best iteration of Ninja Turtles of all time. It's so fucking good. It's such a goddamn classic. Legendary lines. Just a fucking fun ride the whole time. Damn!
You dirty rat!
You killed my brother! You dirty rat! Ooh! Just fucking absolute classic. It's one of those where it's like, this at least subconsciously shaped my entire personality from the moment I was a child. Like this and Ace Ventura Pet Detective, or When Nature Calls, like in Mystery Men, one that I cannot put on this list because I know I'm the only person in the world that loves the movie Mystery Men. But like these are the core of who I am as a human being, and like I watch them again and I go, oh, okay, I get it. Like this is me. Like
yes,
this is everything that I am in one movie. I love Ninja Turtles so fucking much. It's fucking unironically amazing. In a timeless classic. They will never best it. It's such a great example of the 90s movie aesthetic and something that we just can't capture anymore. You cannot make this movie in modern day. Movies have just fundamentally changed. We've just gotten so far aesthetically from what this was. Like if you shot this in HD, it would suck.
Yeah.
Everything would be ruined. It's a perfect encapsulation of its time. The movies that were being made at that period of time and the aesthetic of those and the humor of those and just like that nostalgic feeling of a 1990 film, you know, in between 80s and 90s aesthetics. Like it's wonderful. It's so good. April O'Neil's Babe.
Yeah.
Sick. Next.
Cowabunga.
Mandy. Pretty recent film.
Fairly
One of the new
recent,
additions to this list.
2017?
Definitely want to rewatch it. We saw it in theaters. It was a fucking ride like no other. Aesthetically fucking awesome the entire time. It's like turned up to, it's what every horror film fan, it's the movie they want to make turned up to 11. Like with every ridiculous idea in it pulled off incredibly well with beautiful aesthetics and cinematography and hilarious crazy shit. It's the pinnacle of Nicolas Cage's career. He will never top it. He has never done anything better than it. It is made for him in a perfect way.
Truly.
And it is just ridiculous. It is a must-see, even if you don't like it.
I don't care if you don't like Nicolas Cage. I don't care if you don't like horror movies. This is an experience.
Definitely if you're a fan of, like, wacky horror shit, Stanley Kubrick shit.
Yeah.
Like, aesthetic, slow, crazy films, you know? This is up your alley. Nick Cage with a 6-foot-long chainsaw.
Yes! Battling another man with a long chainsaw.
It's just madness. It's such a fucking instant cult classic. Like, there's just, you can't describe. It's just ridiculous. It's absurd. Nicolas Cage wearing this tiger shirt, screaming in a bathroom in his underwear, losing his mind. There's no comparing.
Also, the Cheddar Goblin.
Yes, Cheddar Goblin. It's insane. It's just ridiculous. And the whole time you're just like, I can't believe they made this fucking movie in modern day. And I'm so happy they did. And this, like, I don't need to go back and watch any other stupid 80s horror film because this encapsulates everything I love about that, but also it's good and I love it. Like, and it's great. It's fucking sick. Much like the next movie, the remake of Suspiria. Strange one. Trippy, cool movie. Very aesthetically interesting. Very slow burn. It's a movie that you definitely want to sit back in the dark and get lost in feel out aesthetically. It reminds me of movies that I really liked in high school, and it's kind of a good escalation of that, like a Darren Aronofsky kind of slow burn, crazy movies with big fucking nuts finales. And the end of this movie is aesthetically fucking awesome and just like, bleh, whoa, cool, yeah, I love this, I fucking love this. And that's why it's on this list. It's one where I definitely want to rewatch it.
Yeah.
It definitely needs to stand the test of time because we watched this pretty recently, just last year.
I watched it again a couple weeks ago.
Hope watched it again, but I think it was really cool, very different and interesting, and sort of a great revitalization of a 70s style that has been lost to time, but done incredibly well and with care, and like good modern cult classic. And I love getting modern cult classics.
Yeah.
That kind of trim the fat of older style films.
This got was in development hell for a really long time, like I believe over a decade. So I'm honestly impressed with the fact.
I'll let Lala.
Lala.
I gotta let her at the window.
I was like, let her out? I can't let her out.
What do you want? You wanna go up there?
That's all you get. You can't go outside.
She's having trouble getting up there.
Yeah, there's too much crap. There you go.
Alright. Lala has been satiated.
It was in development hell for a really long time. A lot of people were sure this wasn't even going to happen. But I'm really glad that it did. It definitely is proof that Dakota Johnson can actually act, which surprised me very much because I was only aware of her work in 50 Shades of Grey, which is not that impressive. And it has Tilda Swinton in it playing multiple characters, one of which is an old German man, which is amazing.
It's a trip. All the acting across the board is pretty great.
It's so good.
Such a trip. But next movie, another fucking classic older film, Apocalypse Now.
Come on, baby, take a chance with us. Come on, baby, take a chance with us. Come on, baby, take a chance with us and meet me at the back of the blue bus tuna, blue route on a blue bus tuna. Yeah. Come on, yeah. We train young men to drop fire on people, but their commanders won't allow them to write fuck on their airplane because it's obscene.
Hope does not like Apocalypse Now. I forced Hope to watch Apocalypse Now. She didn't like it because the dog got hurt.
Puppy was sad.
It's a movie that every time I watch it, I like more. And it feels faster every time. Like, I definitely understand the first time I watched it, it feels ridiculously slow. And somehow, every time I watch it, it gets faster and more exciting because I already know what's going to happen, I guess. But it's like, it's such an odd movie. Because it's like, you know, it went through development hell and it's a total clusterfuck, but it's just got like such crazy fucking characters, and it's a descent into madness and hell, and it's such an interesting like perspective on Vietnam, and like the main character's motivations are so just like bizarre. How do I describe Apocalypse Now properly? I love this movie, like many other movies I love, is structured in a very bizarre way because it's really chapter based, where like it's kind of a collection of stories that stand on their own that are put together in a movie and like kind of just paint a picture of sort of different scenarios and characters involved in like this fucking bizarre nightmarescape that is the Vietnam War. And it's like it's from this perspective on Vietnam of people that have just been there for a really long time and have just become jaded to what it is. Because the main guy, played by Martin Sheen in the beginning, like, he has been through battle and come out and is just, like, losing his fucking mind. Because he's got, like, crazy PTSD, and he is just, his soul is in war, and he can never go back to being a human being again. Like, he is a broken fucking man. And so the army comes to him because they need him to track down another insane broken man who has defected into the jungle, and they want to assassinate him, so they get Martin Sheen to go into the woods to assassinate him, and he goes with this team on this long journey down a river in a descent into madness, along with these other people who gradually die off or go insane over the course of the film, and it's just all these fucking bizarre scenarios, and then, like, it has a legendary finale of Martin Sheen's character meeting the big bad in the end, and realizing that they are the same kind of guy. They've both kind of transcended humanity into this weird state where they're trapped in this war, and like they represent two ideologies of like one guy has basically given up his identity and become this like ghost of fucking insanity. And the other guy has become this cult leader in the jungle, like, trying to do his own thing, and, like, he has this weird god complex, and it's just, like, so much weird shit going on, and then they're these two natural forces, and Martin Sheen's gotta kill him. And he's, like, even though they're similar, he's here to kill him, and he's gonna kill him, and he kills him. And you're like, fuck yeah, this is nuts. And then it's just, like, over, and you're like, this movie's ridiculous. It's a classic. It's just, I love the aesthetics, I love the characters, I love everything that happens, and I like it more every single time I watch it, which has been like 4 or 5 times now, and it's a fucking long movie to get through. I love Apocalypse Now, it's cool. It's fucking cool, dude, sick. How do you feel about Apocalypse Now?
They were mean to a puppy.
Yeah, there's a part where they're mean to a puppy, and the puppy yelps, and then Hope hated the movie.
The puppy sounded like it was in legitimate distress.
Oh, man. Classic.
I don't like it.
Alright, let's move on to Hope's list. I mean, it's a man movie. Apocalypse Now is a guy movie. Yeah. I didn't quite expect you to like it.
I don't think there's really too many girls who would put that in their top 9.
There's, like, no female characters.
Also true.
It's very masculine. Just the conceit of it is very masculine. It's ridiculous, but it's so fucking good. The music, incredible. It's just madness. Let's get to Hope's movies. Alright, I have not seen what Hope picked, so I will be pleasantly... fuck! I knew that there were going to be movies that I forgot that Hope would remember, and it starts off right there. Alright, get into
force,
it.
Baby.
Get into it.
Alright, starting up top, on our top left, we have Swiss Army Man.
I should have put that in mine.
This is a movie starring Daniel Radcliffe. The basic premise is that there is a man who gets stranded on an island. He just wakes up on a beach by himself. He has no fucking clue how he got there, no clue what's going on. And all he can find is this dead body. And throughout the movie, the dead body becomes reanimated, and they develop this friendship that becomes like therapeutic for the man who was lost. It becomes this like him working through a relationship with his girlfriend that had gone bad, and they develop this very, very close, very personal friendship that gets him through figuring out like how he got here, what the fuck is going on. Also, he rides the dead body and it farts, and that's like the motor, and it moves very across the ocean, and it's really good. And there's a twist at the end, and I cried.
It's great.
I love Swiss
Definitely
Army
a classic.
Man.
I want to watch that again for sure.
It's so good. This is the movie that made me love Daniel Radcliffe because I didn't grow up liking Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I like the choices he makes as far as movies a lot more now because he tries all sorts of weird shit, and even though it's not always good, it is unique and it sets him apart to me as someone who's willing to try like weird fucking movies where he plays a corpse that is a motorboat that farts.
Definitely,
so
like when we watched this, I was like, "This is my favorite movie."
It's hilarious.
It was fucking ridiculous.
It's heartwarming. It's beautiful. It's great. It's free on Netflix. Go watch it right now.
I need to rewatch it for sure.
Yes, Doctor. It's Herbert West. What are you thinking? How do you feel? You?
So here we go. Next square. This would be Reanimator, the 1988 Stuart Gordon classic film. This is a story about Herbert West, the best mad scientist to ever exist. He is a tiny, batshit insane science boy, and all he wants from life is to make a serum that can bring the freshly dead back to life.
Yes.
Why? Because science. There's no reason.
Because
he doesn't like anybody. He has no friends. He has no relationships. He just wants science.
He needs to push the limits. It's his Kokoro wish.
It is his
He can't
Kokoro
stop.
wish.
He has to do it because he is a man of science.
I love
He wants to play God, goddammit.
I love this movie so much. I only watched it, I think I watched it for the first time 2 years ago, and then I've watched it once a year ever since. It has some fucking classic scenes and classic lines. You know, you got your cat dead details later. You've got the fucking, the dude with no head, sucking on a lady's tit.
You got a decapitated head being held by a decapitated body. And the body is holding the head on the girl's tit, and the head's licking the tit, and it's fucking awesome.
It's
fucking
so
great.
good. It's fucking classic.
I do love Reanimator.
I love Reanimator.
I can't love it as much as you do, which is why I didn't put it on the list, because I knew you would. But it's like,
Yeah.
it is a fucking awesome, hilarious, wonderful movie.
I dressed up as Herbert West for Halloween like 2 years ago,
Yes.
so that's how much I love Reanimator.
Such a babe.
It's so good.
It is fucking great. Okay, next.
Just fucking say it. Don't you swear at me, you little shit! Don't you ever raise your voice at me! I am your mother! Do you understand? All I do is worry and slave and defend you, and all I get back is that fucking face on your face! So full of disdain and resentment and always so annoyed. Well, now your sister is dead, and I know you miss her. And I know it was an accident, and I know you're in pain, and I wish I could take that away from you. I wish I could shield you from the knowledge that you did what you did, but your sister is dead. She is gone forever. And what a waste. If it could have maybe brought us together or something. If you could have just said, I'm sorry, or faced up to what happened, maybe then we could do something with this. But you can't take responsibility for anything.
So next movie we have on here is Hereditary, directed by Ari Aster. Whoa! We're also going to call this list the me sucking A24's dick list because most of these movies are A24 movies, so fair warning.
I suppose.
This movie, oddly enough, is like a comfort movie for me. I love to just put this on as background noise and like go
which
about
is
my
odd.
life.
Hope is insane with her movie watching because she will put on like a deep, like crazy classic movie that you really gotta like pay full attention to, and she'll just put it on all the time in the background, and you're like, how do you do this?
I love
how do you watch movies like this?
I'll do it with Midsommar too.
Yes.
And And I did it with Suspiria a couple weeks ago.
It's amazing. It blows my mind.
I love it.
Which, I mean, fair,
Just,
you've seen them before, and you've seen it, time and time again, and it helps you remember the stuff.
Definitely, I've seen Hereditary enough times that I know exactly, when each story beat is coming, and it's just something about it. I just love having it on. If you haven't seen Hereditary by now, it is basically a story about being a transgender.
That's a fun take.
That's the Nick Spheres take.
Credit to Nick Spheres, link in description.
Link in bio.
That's a very fun take.
Yeah. But basically it's the story of a family falling apart. The mom is like having a fucking she has a total mental breakdown after her daughter is tragically killed. So she's completely losing her mind. Her family is falling apart. Her son is also losing his shit because directly or indirectly he's responsible for his sister's death. There's creepy demon stuff going on as well. When this movie first came out, I watched it and I loved it. And I made the mistake of telling my mom to go see it. And then immediately after she saw it, she said, "Hope, why would you tell me to see a movie about worshiping the devil?" I guess she doesn't know her daughter very well, and also she didn't get the point of the movie. But that's the kind of thing that I'm usually about. It had the devil in it.
That's not good.
It's bad. It's about the Satan worship. But yeah, it's got some fucking great acting. Fucking, oh my god, what's the lady's name? What's her name?
I don't know. All I know is that I hate her face. She's great.
She's perfect in this movie because she makes super fucked up screaming faces.
Yes.
She is perfect for this role. I couldn't imagine. Colette something.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Toni Collette?
Toni Collette! Thank you.
Yeah.
Toni Collette is perfect for this movie.
Yeah.
So good.
It's a great movie in I think it gets the mark of being a fucking really great movie because so many people can have different interpretations of what happens, and it's the kind of thing that just sticks in your head after you watch it and you really got to think about, which is great.
Yeah.
That's my favorite part about it.
I agree, and it's also, the first time you see it, it can be genuinely, like, surprising. Like, I went to see this in theaters with one of my friends, and the scene where the daughter dies, when that incident occurs, I literally went and like sat back in my seat because I just wasn't ready for how visceral that was like gonna
intense.
feel and sound. Like it was quite effective.
Yeah.
Though now I know that Ari Aster has a thing for head trauma anyway, so now I'm not quite so surprised. But yeah, that's Hereditary.
Yeah.
Next on the list in the middle left panel we have Her.
We talked about her
It's
already.
great.
We love her.
Love it.
Yeah.
Moving to the middle panel is It Comes at Night. Another A24 film. This is another movie that I saw in theaters with one of my friends. At the end of the movie, I was kind of like, that wasn't bad. I didn't love it. And my friend got up and went, that was fucking awful.
Nice.
And then I watched it again a couple years later with Victor. And at the end of the movie, there was just tears like streaming down my face because the existential crisis that this movie put me into, the pure despair that you feel at the end of this movie where there is no hope and there is no future and there's nothing you can do about it. It's super suspenseful. The cinematography, in my opinion, is really nice. I think the acting's pretty good. Overall, it's just a really nice, tense film that has a really impactful ending. The dog dies. But
The dog dies.
But also, just a really great movie if you want to feel sad and feel like there's no purpose to life.
It's pretty good. I can never remember enough of what happens. I need to probably watch it again.
Yeah,
which is why I'm...
It is also free on Netflix, so
Yeah.
get at it, boys. Get at it. Here at the end of the middle row, we have Whiplash.
Yeah.
Obviously. Bottom left, we have Parasite.
Yeah.
Shocking. Here, bottom middle, we have Hellraiser from Clive Barker.
Is that Hellraiser or Hellraiser 2?
That is Hellraiser.
It's Hellraiser 1.
That is
so
the first
like
Hellraiser.
The first one the most.
I like the first one the most. The
Yeah.
second one is also really good.
Second one was pretty cool.
I love
It's
the second one for
fucking
different
cool.
reasons,
Yeah.
probably.
Second one is very fun.
Yes,
Like, that
the second one is a lot
fun
of
ride.
fun. As is the third one.
Yeah.
I don't recommend watching past the third one, probably.
Yeah.
But the first one is genuinely really cool, really interesting. A lot of thoughts on the intermingling of pleasure and pain. All sorts of weird sexual deviant bullshit. Tons of fucking sick practical effects. Very, very much something that only could have existed in that time, much like Reanimator.
Yeah.
And for that, I have a deep appreciation for it. I've watched it probably 4 or 5 times.
Nice. Hellraiser 1?
Yeah.
I didn't know you watched it that many times.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple times.
Nice.
It's a lot of fun. I do recommend.
If you're into sadomasochism like Hope is. It's like the sadomasochism
It is definitely
movie.
the
Like,
sadomasochist movie.
It is aesthetic
But-
from top to bottom.
but
But it also has
also-
really cool practical effects and shit like that.
It has really cool practical effects, and it has a great female lead.
Yeah.
In that she's fucking strong as hell, and she doesn't let any of this shit get to her. She takes no shit. She's a weird,
fucking
rapey
awesome.
uncle, and she's just like, you can fuck right off with that shit. I am not interested.
Her arc through 1 and 2 is
So
fantastic.
good. Yeah.
Super cool.
It's super great. She's a great character. She does not let you fuck around. She's fantastic.
Very fun. Very fun.
Yeah. So here at the very end, Victor, do you know what this is?
Why do we just assume that all of this infrastructure and entertainment and open information that is beaming all over the place, all the time, into every single home on the planet is exactly what we're told it is? Maybe there are people out there who are more important than us, more powerful and wealthier than us, that are communicating things and seeing things in the world that are meant for only them and not for us. I think it's fucking ridiculous to assume that media has just one purpose, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Is it Under the Silver Lake?
It is Under the Silver
Wow,
Lake.
nice.
Very
Cool.
good. Under
That
the-
one I wasn't sure. I feel like I need to watch it again for sure. I remember really liking, because it was like one where we started off, we didn't like it, and then we liked it
Yeah.
more over the course of time. But
Yeah.
like I wasn't. I'll let you talk about it.
Under the Silver Lake is another A24 movie. This is a weird one because it didn't get any film screenings. It literally went straight to
Yeah.
Amazon.
Very divisive.
A24 seemed like they weren't really very proud of this one for whatever reason. It stars Andrew Garfield. It starts off in a way that kind of might be off-putting to people.
Yeah.
Because Andrew Garfield's character is just like some useless fucking chode. He's kind of a shitlord. He like is peeping on his sexy older lady neighbor. Like he's just sleazy and kind of gross. And you're like, eh. And there's a girl who lives across from him who like swims naked in the pool, and he's creeping on her. And you're kind of like, I don't know, this is weird. But it goes some fucking places, man.
Yeah.
If an Alex Jones conspiracy theory was a movie, it would be Under the Silver Lake.
That's what's great about it is like it tackles sort of the mentality of someone who's following a conspiracy theory and sort of the egocentrism that comes with that. and like he goes down this rabbit hole of following this conspiracy that is all like related to like cartoons he watched as a kid and shit, and like magazines he used to read and stuff that's like
the music
really
he listens to.
it's really personal to him and his childhood, and it's this whole conspiracy that revolves around him, you know. And it dives into sort of the egotistical nature of like not only millennials but like people who get wrapped up in conspiracies where like they feel he's this guy that has no meaning in his life.
Yeah, there's nothing special about him. He has no prospects. Like,
he's totally fucking useless, and then he's given this like, oh, I'm actually the most special guy in the world.
Right. It's like
and
a Truman Show, but in reverse.
Yeah, and like it's a good criticism of sort of the conceited, like the otaku hero, you know? Like he's the otaku hero, but then the movie completely flips that on him. It is like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
And it, like, he is a shitty person. He's consistently shitty throughout.
Yeah.
And the movie basically fucks him in the end, and it ruins his brain, and it's like, and then he turns out to not be special in any way.
And then it's just like, oh, but it doesn't matter that you know all of this intense conspiracy. Like, it's all real and it's all true, but it doesn't matter because you're a nobody.
It's all meaningless. And it's all just like, it's a great takedown of the otaku hero in a way. Where it's like, you know, fuck this guy.
Yeah, maybe you do have all this insight, but who's ever going to believe you?
Yeah.
You're a shithead that no one would ever bother giving the time of day.
And it's that great, you know, people who believe in conspiracies want it to be real so bad. But, like, what would that reality be like if it was real? You know, the conspiracy in the end is real. In the, like, that reality, now there's no going back, and you are ruined. Like, you cannot
your perception
go
of
back
the world
to the world.
Is fucked.
Yeah, it's like, why did you want this? You could have just lived without this, and you wanted this, and now you're here. What are you gonna do?
You could have lived in the simulation and been happy, but you chose not to, and now you're gonna be miserable, and you got nothing out of it.
Yep, you fucked up, buddy.
That's it.
Oh man. Definitely a fun movie, fun one to talk about. Sticks in your head, a lot to think about.
Another movie that I was recommended by Nick Spears.
Yeah.
So.
And we literally hated it at the beginning and loved it by the end.
Yeah.
Like it took us through an emotional roller coaster.
I would say at least half the movie you're sitting there going, where is this going?
Yeah.
Where is this going? What is the point? Where is this going? And then by the end you're like, oh!
It all clicks, and you're like, oh, that was actually really fucking brilliant, like the way they did that.
So it's really a shame that it got buried under A1 not really wanting to give it a wide distribution. It is on Amazon. You do have to pay to see it, but I would say it's worth it to experience that.
Very cool. Honorable mentions?
Honorable mentions. Let me pull up my
hard for me with movies.
magic
notebook.
mentions.
It's there's a lot.
Obviously, honorable mentions. I have The Lighthouse and the Witch, directed by Robert Eggers.
The Lighthouse I gotta see again.
Fucking great horror movies. We are living in a fucking golden age for horror, for sure. Nightcrawler.
I'll probably do like Alien and The Thing.
I had Alien on here.
The Thing is really cool. I haven't seen it in a long time though.
Yeah. You hit Suspiria and Mandy. I had Arrival. Do you remember Arrival?
Oh, fuck. I loved Arrival.
With Amy
Jesus.
Adams. Really fucking good movie.
I gotta see that
it's
again.
It's free on Amazon.
Yeah.
Go watch it if you haven't
I
seen it.
loved that when we saw it in theaters.
Arrival is fucking great. The Fly, starring Jeff Goldblum, a Cronenberg movie.
Very fun.
Fucking excellent.
Any Cronenberg movie is
the
gonna
fucking
be fun.
best body horror probably ever. The best practical effects for body horror. Get Out from Jordan Peele.
Pretty good.
I liked that quite a bit. Mother.
Mother, very fucking on. Darren Aronofsky. Probably one of his best.
Definitely.
Probably like one of his most underrated in my opinion.
My favorite Aronofsky
Yeah.
movie because of the pure anxiety
It is
that you feel watching it.
It is a movie that is infuriating to watch, and that is the intention, and it pulls that off better than any other movie I've ever seen. It is so immensely stressful, and it's like the ending is so overwhelming, and it has so much to unpack that it's just like you can talk about it probably endlessly with interpretations of what the movie is.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Especially if
and
you
like biblical, literal, environmental. There's so much you can pull from that shit.
Yeah, if you know anything about the Bible.
I also have on here Noroi the Curse. which
That
is
was very
a
cool.
Japanese found footage movie. A little bit long, but really cool. Probably one of the better found footage horror movies I've seen.
Definitely.
And I would also probably mention The Wailing.
Yeah,
Which
that
is
was
a
fucking
Korean suspense horror movie.
That's another one that with just a structure that is, it just feels endless and immersive, and like you can't follow the act structure at all, but it just like is fucking awesome the whole way, and it just has twists and turns and goes in directions that like possession movie type stuff doesn't usually go in, and just really fucking cool.
Yeah, it really makes you question like how exactly, like what is going on and how is this gonna pan out.
Yeah.
Those two you can watch on Shudder if you are subscribed to
Yeah.
Shudder.
On Amazon.
Amazon.com or on its app if you aren't on a PS4 like me. But hey, that's my honorable mentions.
That's everything?
Yeah.
I would mention Hot Fuzz.
Okay.
Very hard to not put Hot Fuzz. Amazing fucking movie. Timeless classic. It's been a long time since I've seen some of my old favorites, like Hot Fuzz, anything by Wes Anderson. Like, I used to be the biggest fucking Wes Anderson fan. Same with Woody Allen. Woody Allen, when I rewatched Annie Hall, I think with you I made you watch it. I didn't like it as much as I used to. Yeah, but Hot Fuzz, fucking great. Fucking all Edgar Wright's movies are fucking great. Those are difficult ones, not to mention.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey.
Yep. Yep.
So yeah.
Sorry to Bother You is good.
Sorry to Bother You is a great movie. I
pretty
definitely
good.
recommend. That's free on Hulu.
Yeah.
As you'll notice, there's basically no comedies, no pure action movies. Well, yours had an action movie. There's basically no pure comedies on here. There's no pure romance movies. That is not really our vibe.
I suppose.
So
It's just comedy movies are dead. Like
they truly are.
I mean, Ninja Turtles was a pure comedy.
That's true.
And I love that. And it's tempting to put Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls on, because that is just fucking. But that's another one with that and probably Ninja Turtles where it's like, could I recommend this to Zoomers? I don't know. I don't know if they'll understand at all.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, because like all the good comedies were from the 90s, and like there's no good modern comedies besides maybe like Superbad, Pineapple Express held up when I rewatched that. You know, like Judd Apatow shit is the only modern comedy films that are any good. I feel like there's something recently that was okay. I don't know.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Sonic the Hedgehog. Instant classic.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think there's an honorable mention you forgot.
Oh yeah?
Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island.
Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. Another movie that only I will understand.
No, I love
Who
Scooby-Doo.
opened the window?
I love Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. That's
It
the
is a
only good
classic.
Scooby-Doo movie.
It is the best Scooby-Doo movie, the best Scooby-Doo media that has ever existed. Velma's a Babe. Who Opened the Window? Rats.
Rats.
So it's a good Scooby-Doo movie.
It's
you know?
legitimately a good movie.
It's exciting. It's got fun songs. It's got a great interpretation of all the characters. You know, they play off of each other well. Everything about it's great. Well animated, well directed.
It is. It's surprisingly well animated for.
It is the pinnacle of Scooby-Doo. They've never done better. They've never.
And they never will.
Yeah, they never will.
That's it. That was the pinnacle.
Yeah. Anything else? Shit. I'm sure there's a bunch of shit that we're not thinking about that we would love to put in.
Yeah. It's alright. I think I got to recommend all my weird garbage A24 movies.
Confessions. Japanese movie. Almost made it. Got barely cut. One of my favorite movies. Another movie that I love more than everyone else in the world and no one else understands. Mostly because it has a kick-ass soundtrack and really fucking cool editing. And it's another unstructured sort of book adaptation that feels like you're watching a book, and it's a trip, and it's really cool, and I like it a lot aesthetically, and it's a great Japanese movie. If you want to watch some Japanese movies, Ichi the Killer 2, lots of fun. Fucking holds up really, really well. Fucking wacky-ass movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Is it? You're good?
I think that's it.
Bing, bing, bing. What's our thumbnail?